And I loved what you said. You said one of the things that you're good at, the things where you're good, you are just doing it. You're just doing it. Now this is like, okay, so I'm just doing it, so what? Well, but this is really important, you're just doing it. There's nothing on your mind. Okay, there's no kind of like, is this right, is this wrong, do I like it, do I dislike it, what's going to happen? It's just going to happen, you just do it. And so when you look at high performance, for example, in sports, and you ask people, well, what's on your mind when you are going about your thing? They say nothing. Because they are busy just being here in the moment and playing. I haven't verified this, but I heard that Roger Federer even said he has to force himself to look actually at the scoreboard to see what the score is, because he's so engrossed in the playing. That's what I heard. I haven't read the article, so I might be wrong, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. So in general, where we're doing well is where we are actually just in the moment. That's where we're doing exceptionally well. So if I show you someone who's a high performer in an area, I guarantee you that person is present in the moment. And I show you someone who's struggling in that area, they have lots on their mind. So I'm just gonna draw it up to kind of characterize it. And we struggle in the areas, I'm busy drawing my Picasso. We struggle in the areas where we're overthinking. So, person A performs great. They have a clear mind, they're clear-headed, and everything just flows. They go and they do their thing. Person B is struggling, because they're thinking lots about it, and they have lots of things on top of it. They're going into the future, thinking how it's going to go and all of that. This is the difference. This is the only difference between people who are struggling and people who are well performing. And the good news is you can be struggling right now in one area and you can become better at it. So as an example, my current mentor and coach, he wanted to be able to do public speaking. And he was absolutely freaking out about public speaking. But he wanted to do it. So he went to see some people, NLP and hypnotists and whatever. It didn't work. He was still scared. So he's like, screw it, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go and I'm just going to start going to do it. And he was scared, he started doing it. And it took him a while. And at some point, it just lost its fear. It just changed. And now it's like his second home and he's great at it. His presentations are fantastic. He's going out, he's doing his thing. But before, he was here, freaking out. Now he's here, being okay.
And because he just did it.
Because he just did.
Again.
Yeah.
But that's what we actually talked about when I kind of, because this overthinking that I mentioned my job and it's rather new.
Yeah.
So
the job or the overthinking?
The job. The overthinking is. But I mean, I think it's really like happening so often now because it's a new job.
Yeah.
So, but what she was saying that, well, if there is no clear right and wrong decision, it's about experience then, and then I think that's kind of also that doing it many times, getting the experience that.
Oh yeah.
Like what I say, what do you picture in here?
Yeah.
I mean, not just that the overthinking goes like a drop of a hat, but after a process.
The process can definitely help. Now, the bad news is there's people who do lots of speaking, and I know there's one person, she's speaking a lot, and she's still very, very nervous about it.
Nervous?
Yeah, she's still, I mean, she's doing well, but you can tell when she's on stage, she's still struggling. She's not necessarily here. She's sometimes here.
And what if I don't know, maybe the person cannot really speak very well in front of a group,
Mm-hmm.
and then it doesn't improve. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Well, it depends. It depends on what you see someone can speak well in front of a group or not. So you'll get speakers, they are very charismatic, they are like very engaging, and then you get speakers, they are very dry humor, and they're very different. But they all have their place in presenting. And so it's, for me, it's not about fitting into the thing of this is good and this is bad, but rather finding something that's authentic for you. And so in terms of public speaking, I am definitely a believer that the skill can be improved and it can fit whatever personality that you have. And some people will find it engaging, some people will find it off-putting. You can go to a speaking event and some speakers you'll think they're great and some speakers you think they're not great. Like when you go to America, they're going to be a bit over the top for me. But for some people it's like great, it's awesome. But if it comes to high performance, if we can limit, or if we can have less of overthinking, we're going to be spending more here, right? Logically. So I believe if I can point you in a direction where you can spend more time here, that will be useful to you. Yeah? Great.
I think public speaking is a really good example that is something so relatable. And I just know that if you're new to it, or you're like you think you're bad at it, that means you're very nervous to be up there. And the whole time, yes, you're trying to remember the speech that you memorized, but the whole time you're like, I'm up here, you're at least for me, like the major experience is actually, I'm here in the front, versus what I actually want to tell the people. So I can imagine who someone is so in free flow of speaking is like the sunshine man there, right?
I have a great example actually. I recently was on an intensive with a client and he used to aspire to become a professional skier.
Skier?
Yeah. Going downhill, I think slalom or whatever. And he told me he was good and he had huge potential, but he always got in his own way. So he didn't pursue the career eventually. And he told me his best race was when he woke up and his neck was a bit like this and he was in pain. So he was like, oh God, this is so horrible. And he went there and he was like this. He sat down, getting ready for the race with his head like this twisted, but he's gonna go. So he sat down and something happened and his neck was fine and he just went down and it was the best race of his entire career. From being completely, basically handicapped to actually performing. And now it's a funny thing, he arrives at the finish line and with the best time and he goes like this. It's back. But so he didn't have time to worry how the race is gonna go. He was busy with his pain and all of that. So when he got there, he had nothing on his mind. He's just, I'm just gonna do it. There's nothing on there, he's already handicapped. I mean, what else can go wrong? He's already there. So he just went and he was so in the moment and every curve just could take it and it was just flowing beautifully. Right? Which shows you it's not the circumstances. I mean, you could think like, man, this guy is definitely not going to do a good race. And he had everything against him, like the neck like this, and you don't think there's any chance he's going to have a good race. And boom, he had a good race. Which shows it's not the circumstances, it's not the preparation. It can happen at any moment. We can drop at any moment into a clear head, a clear space. But I want to look at what I believe causes overthinking. Because it looks like to me that's what gets in our way, the overthinking. And when I look at it, overthinking, it's a bit hidden at the beginning, but if I'm thinking, about the future, let's take your example, for example, you think about, is it the right decision or the wrong decision, what's going to happen, and all of that. So there's two parts to this, to thinking and overthinking and all of that. First part is analysis is very useful. Thinking about the future is very useful. I'm a big believer in that. Otherwise I wouldn't have this event today because I can't plan if I can't think about the future. So the ability to go into the future with your mind and think about different scenarios and evaluating them is a good ability. Very useful. Otherwise we wouldn't have evolved as human beings. So the ability itself is very useful. what seems to happen is that this ability goes out of control. So it's not a focused kind of analysis with a calm, clear mind where you think, yeah, this could go wrong and this could go right, and what do I do if this goes wrong? And it's just a clear kind of cut analysis and you know your way. But often what happens with people is that they go into the future and they start spinning. Oh my God, this can go wrong, this and all of that. And it's actually not really productive anymore. It's just spinning and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Is that relatable? Can you raise your hand? Just so no, yeah? Okay, cool. All right. That kind of spinning, what it looks to me like is we are projecting something in the future that's very uncomfortable. So we look at, oh, if I make this mistake, I might lose my job. If I lose my job, there's all kinds of bad feelings that we associate with that. Right. So what the mind is trying to do, it's trying to avoid bad feelings. Very simple. We're trying to avoid bad feelings. So if I think there's going to be bad feelings in the future, I'm going to try and do everything to not get into those bad feelings.
Oh, of course. And then not making a decision, of course, doesn't get you that feeling, how do you say, as quickly. Well, you put off the decision, it's like, then that feeling won't come for another while, right? So it's quite effective in putting off the feeling. Procrastination.
Yeah, well, I don't know how effective it really is. It's it's a coping mechanism and we try it.
Or you imagine that it's like, it's still not here.
Yeah, it's not here and you don't want to look at it or you want to cope with it. And when you look at the world, I mean, look, we all are absolutely afraid of bad feelings. And lots of people, they cope with it with alcoholism, sex, TV, drugs, food, all kinds of things. Trying to make ourselves feel better. Trying to cope with this kind of negative feelings. Okay. And so if it looks to me, now there we come back to what I started with we behave in a way that makes that the world occurs to us. So if that changes, our behavior changes. So all of you behave absolutely congruent and in a way that makes sense to you on a deeper level. Not necessarily intellectually. You might think, what am I doing? Doesn't make sense. But on a deeper level, it makes sense to you. That's why you have the behavior. Right. So for the mind to try and get you out of the rut by trying to solve the problem, which is an unsolvable problem, trying to solve the problem of avoiding bad feelings, it's very natural. It's very normal. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's very normal. It's like you have a fire and I'm like, put your hand to the fire. You're like, are you crazy? I'm not going to do that. It's going to hurt. Right? And that's the equivalent of what we do. We project into the future and we're like, I'm not going to go into that fire, so I'm going to try anything to avoid that.